Business Communication, Creating and Delivering Messages That Matter, Chapter 5, by Leslie Wilford. Communication. Communication is the transmission of information between a sender and a recipient. Things that hinder communication. These are called communication barriers. Noise, any interference that causes the message you send to be different from the message your audience receives. A physical barrier, anything from a document to a room that is ice cold. Language barrier, not speaking the same language, slang, jargon, and regional accents. Body language barriers. Body language can distract or alienate people. Perceptual barriers is how your audience perceives you or your agenda. Organizational barriers, people at the top of an organization not associating with people at the bottom. A cultural barrier is everything from greeting colleagues and establishing eye contact to how you handle disagreements and so forth. Nonverbal communication. Communication that does not use words. Common forms of nonverbal communication include gestures, posture, facial expressions, tone of voice, and eye contact. Nonverbal communication can be more communicative than verbal communication. Eye contact. In human beings, eye contact is a form of nonverbal communication and is thought to have a large influence on social behavior. Coined in the early to mid-1960s, the term has come in the West to often define the act as a meaningful and important sign of confidence in social communication. The customs and significance of eye contact vary widely. Active listening. Attentive listening that occurs when the listener focuses his or her complete attention on the speaker. Communication channels. There are many: memos and reports, emails, texting, voicemail, telephones, video conferencing, in-person, and face-to-face meetings. You should always analyze your audience, their expectations, their education, and their professions. Understanding the audience is one of the most important elements of effective communication. Audience analysis can help you gain valuable insight about your listeners, which can help you to choose and develop relevant, meaningful topics. It can also help you to create a plan that is tailored effectively to your audience, with appropriate tone, style, language, and content. There are a set of questions to answer which will help stimulate your thinking about your audience. In addition to the questions below, you should consider how each of these factors affect attitudes, expectations, and opinions about you and your topic. Is my audience alike? What do they have in common? If so, how are they different from one another? What do they have in common despite their differences? What is the average age, and what range of ages is represented? In terms of socioeconomic status, how would I describe my audience? Where do they fit in society's social and economic status? What occupations are represented in my audience? What are my political and religious affiliations? What ethnic, racial, and cultural groups are represented in my audience? And what is my role in relationship to my audience? Are we status equals, or are we of mixed status? What might my audience expect from this document? What might I expect my attitudes toward me and my topic? What concerns or problems do my audience have? What interests and goals do or might we have? What will motivate them? What types of needs do they have? What biases or preconceived ideas might my audience have about me and my topic? How much does my audience already know about my topic? What specifically do they already know about the topic? What can I inform them about that they do not already know? What new information would they benefit from, and how could they use this information? At what point of sophistication will I be talking over their heads because my information is too complex? At what point of sophistication will I be insulting the intelligence of my audience because my information is too simplistic? And what questions might my audience have about my topic? Things to avoid. Avoid slang. Avoid bias gender, bias age, bias race, bias ethnicity, and bias nationality. Use an active voice. At the heart of every good sentence is a strong, precise verb. The converse is true as well. At the core of most confusing, awkward, or wordy sentences lie a weak verb. Try to use the active voice whenever possible. Look for a by phrase, such as by the dog. If you find one, the sentence may be in the passive voice. Rewrite the sentence so that the subject buried in the by clause is closer to the beginning of the sentence. If the subject of the sentence is somewhat anonymous, see if you can use a general term such as researchers or the study or experts in this field. This is when the subject is doing something. They are active. An example is, our school did change its name. Always try to use clear, concise sentences and be confident. Ten tips for excellent email. Consider both your primary and secondary readers. Never forget this email may be forwarded without considering the potential impact on you. Keep it short. Many readers won't scroll past whatever shows on their screen, so get to the point close to the top of the message. Don't forget to proofread. This is important if you're asking someone to do something for you. Remember, spell checker will not always catch everything. Use standard writing. Smiley faces, abbreviations, and 5 exclamation marks are all fine if you're emailing your friends, but formal messages need to look more professional. Avoid attachments if possible. They take time and space to open, and they don't always translate well to cell phones and PDAs. Instead, cut and paste relevant sections of the attachment into your email. Don't assume privacy. Think of your emails as postcards that anyone can read along the way. And try not to use email to communicate negative or critical images or messages. Respond promptly to emails. If you don't have time to respond to the email itself, consider sending a message such as, "Sorry, but I'm swamped right now and we'll get back to you early next week." Assume the best. Because emails are often brief, they can be offensive. Don't automatically take it like that. Create a compelling subject line and make your reader want to open the message. Think before you write and think again before you send. Tips for better listening. Use your extra mental capacity to summarize what the speaker is saying. Ask yourself, why does this matter, and what's the key point? Take a few notes. It will not only help you concentrate, but it will also communicate to the speaker that his or her thoughts really matter to you. Listen with both ears and your eyes. Notice any inconsistency between their words and their body language. Use nonverbal communication, nods, smiles, leaning forward, to indicate interest in the speaker. Use verbal feedback and questions to indicate understanding and empathy. "So you're saying that," or "Why do you think that?" Don't ever glance at your emails or text messages. Don't begin speaking at the time the speaker stops talking. Don't get overly comfortable. Don't finish other people's sentences. And don't pick up your phone or even look at it. The 10 types of communication, broken down. Memos and reports. This can be used when you have lengthy, detailed information for a number of people. Email, when content is controversial and must reach a number of people. Texting, when content is uncontroversial and you need a quick response and no one will be annoyed by it. Voicemail, when content is uncontroversial and you do not need a record of your message. Telephone conversation, when you need to either deliver your message or get a response quickly, more personal, and when you want or need a spontaneous dialogue with the recipient. Video conferencing, when you need to reach multiple people with complex or high priority content. In-person presentation, when you need to reach a large audience and you want or need an immediate response. Face-to-face meeting, when your message is personal, emotional, complex, or high priority, and you need or want immediate feedback. Something to think about. The most basic and powerful way to connect to another person is to listen. Just listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention.